Good morning. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 1. Yes, it is December 1st, the first day of Vlogmas. Real life behind the scenes, Shay knits and pearls. Bedhead and all. Furnace on and all. I tried to get fancy and film myself making my cup of tea, but I found out my camera neither likes being put in the fridge nor being held over a steaming cup of water. So I think that's it for the fancy shots. But here I am with my first cup of tea of the day. My normal routine is to make a cup of tea, come sit here in the living room and knit for a little while. So that's what I plan to do, but first I need to open the first day of my Holiday Minis collection from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. You want to do it with me? You can see day one is right there, eyeing it out. So let's see what I get. Put them here. Okay, here we go. The first of many. Ooh, that's pretty purple one. Look at that lovely color. So this collection is a combination of semi-solids and speckles. So I'm going to knit them into the Adventuresome wrap by Amba O'Brien, only I'm not going to knit them as a wrap. I'm going to make it a little bit narrower and do it as a cowl. Not only do I think I'll get more use out of a cowl, I also want to make a pair of scrappy Advent socks like I did last year, and that should give me enough yarn. So I've got the pattern printed out here. Project bag all ready to go. I have needles and I've got the contrasting yarn. This is some Shibui, what's the base? Sock. Shibui sock, 100% merino that I have had in my stash for years. So I think it'll be a good way to use it up. So I am going to cast on and start knitting. Enjoy my first cup of tea, and I will talk to you later. I am sitting here in one of our 2 spare bedrooms downstairs. Get used to this setting. You will see it quite a lot during Vlogmas because this room has the best light early on in the day. And it's got a pretty good background to film against, not too busy. So I'm obviously rusty at this vlogging business because I recorded a segment before I went for a walk and then I promptly deleted it. So here I am, take 2. So what I had told you then was that I had a fairly indulgent morning. I spent a good part of it knitting because I really wanted to get the first stripe on my cowl done, and I did. So here it is. So I cast on provisionally with Judy's Magic Cast On, and then you can see that red yarn. That's just waste yarn. I threaded it through the stitches that are on hold. So then it starts out with this narrow stripe with these little pops of color peeking through, and then you switch to this wide, wavy, lacy stripe. And it's a stitch pattern that I have not done before. I think it looks really cool. There are a few rows where you have to do some counting and pay attention, so I think that's good. It'll help keep my attention because after all, I have to do this 23 more times. Sometimes that can get boring, but also, of course, changing up the color every day will also help keep my interest. So this amount of knitting used up 5 grams of my 10-gram mini. So that gives me plenty left over to do scrappy socks like I did last year. So these are last year's socks. They are quite long, as you can see, from heel to cuff. A little bit longer than I prefer, but now that I have these, I can get a sense of how many rounds of each color I will need to do 24 stripes and make them the length that I want them. So it's good to have them as a use as a pattern, I guess, or use them for reference. So yeah, as I mentioned, I went for a walk. I try and get out 4 to 5 times a week, depending on the weather, depending on how motivated I am. The route I take takes me a little bit over half an hour to do, and it's not a circle and it's not a rectangle, but it's a circular route. So usually I go out and turn one way one day and then go the opposite direction the next day, just to mix it up, keep it a little bit interesting. So I took you along with me today, and I will put the footage after this. I should take you with me more often, because even though I don't feel like I was walking as quickly as I usually do, the time just flew by. It is absolutely beautiful out today. We woke up to clear skies and frost on the ground. The mountains have fresh snow. They're beautiful. So enjoy your walk with me, and I'm going to go shower, get dressed, and figure out what I'm going to have for lunch today. This is one of my favorite stretches. It's just around the corner from my house, and at one time it was flowering plums or cherries that lined this whole street, and as they've died off, the city has planted it with different varieties of trees. And so, of course, right now most of them are bare, but it is fun walking through here in the different seasons and seeing the different blossoms or leaves, etc. So when I started out, I had businesses on one side of the street, residential on the other. This is all residential. Right straight ahead is the playground for the school where my kids went for the second part of elementary school. But I am not going that way. I am turning the corner before that. So this older building, tucked in the back, is where our kids did kindergarten through grade 3, and then they end up moving building onto the other part of the school, and they all go there now. So this has been repurposed. And then our daughter used to live in one of these townhouses that was built on the old school grounds. And then just about a half a block from there is this condo building, and this is where our youngest son lives. And every so often I see him coming or going, but it's rare. I'll show you his unit in a second. He is working from home these days, as so many are. So if you look straight ahead on the second floor, that's his unit. And look ahead, you can see we're walking towards the mountains. I'll get a better shot when we're a little bit closer. So as you can see, the mountains are getting closer. This is a very familiar route. I walked the kids back and forth to school along here numerous times, and when our daughter was in kindergarten, we didn't have a car, so I would make the trip 3 times back and forth, 3 times a day. It's about maybe a mile from our house, to the elementary school. So, a couple more blocks around the corner again towards home. So we're coming up to the corner of my street. Mountains are now hiding behind a tree, unfortunately. I thought we'd get a better view up here. But yeah, I'll just turn the corner here to the right, and it's just about 2.5 blocks or so till I'm home. All right, here we are, home sweet home, with my car back in the driveway where it belongs. Cones are gone. You can walk on it. So we got the Christmas lights up on Saturday. Changed out my wreath to the winter one. So first steps towards getting ready for Christmas. One of the fun things about December is deciding which pair of Christmas or winter themed socks I'm going to wear each day. As you can see, I have amassed quite a number of them, some of which I haven't even worn yet. This pair here is last year's Advent socks from the Cozy Knitter. And then this is the Winter Comforts colorway by Fiber Nymph Dye Works. And this was the exclusive skein that was included with my holiday mini collection. You had the option of choosing a full skein in addition to the minis. This is from Biscotti Compagnie, which is a wintry colorway. It is called Mon Pays c'est l'hiver. My country, it is winter. And then this is a West Yorkshire Spinners yarn called Robin, or Christmas Robin. When I knit them, I called them my, I think, spring or summer Robin socks, because I knit them at that time of the year, but I figured they're good ones to include also. So which shall it be? I think I'm going to go for the Advent socks today. Seems fitting. It is late afternoon and the sun has just gone down, so I'm going to take advantage of the last little bit of light from the window in front of me here. I have made myself a cup of tea and I'm going to sit down and cast on my Advent socks after I finish with this. One of the guys from the concrete company came by this afternoon and did a little bit of touch-up work, and I wrapped up some gifts and got them ready to go in the mail. I need to go out for something else tomorrow, and so I thought I would include a trip to the post office in my travels. Before I say goodbye, I thought I'd do my Advent calendar. So this is my David's Tea Advent calendar from a couple of years ago. And last year I repurposed it and put chocolates in the little drawers, and I did the same this year. So this year I bought an assortment of Quality Street chocolates, and then Cameron distributed them. And that's my phone going. I had bought a few extras to have before December, but he ended up putting those in the drawers too. So some of the days have 2 chocolates. So number 1 is right up here. And I can see one poking out. One of my favorite kinds. Aha. So I've got an orange cream. And this one has 2. And this is a liquid caramel center, I believe. This is one of the fairly new ones. So now I can turn the drawer around. I don't know how well you can see that. And when all the drawers are turned around, they make a picture. So there we go. I think I'll have one with my cup of tea, and I'll have one after dinner with my cup of tea after dinner. So I think that's going to be it for Vlogmas today. I will see you again tomorrow. Bye. One last look at the mountains with the setting sun on them. And if you hear that noise, we have a family that lives over in that red house over there, and they have a basketball court There's several families that all live together, and they are out there in all kinds of weather and get so much pleasure out of it. And we get a lot of pleasure out of seeing them play and just hearing the joyful noises. So there you go. One last look at the mountains. See you tomorrow.